An old billionaire, heartsick over his son's stubborn refusal to marry, gives up everything, his wealth, his status, even his name, to wander the streets as a helpless beggar. His purpose? To find a pure, true heart worthy of joining their family. If you love a tale of hidden identities, powerful transformations, and love that blossoms from the dust, hit subscribe and share this with your friends. Now, let's dive into how it all started. Chief Ike Diego sat alone in the grandest room of his mansion. The chandeliers sparkled like frozen stars, the floor was Italian marble, and cool air hummed quietly from hidden AC vents. Yet, inside him, it was dry, empty, cold. He had money. More than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. He had hotels in Victoria Island, malls in Lekki, petrol stations all over Nigeria. His face was known from Abuja to Accra. But he had no peace. His only son, Abina, refused to marry. You think all these Lagos girls love for real? Abina once barked. They don't want love, Papa. They want Range Rover. Abina was handsome, successful, and brilliant, but he had become bitter. Every relationship he had ended the same way, cold and distant. He believed no one loved him for who he truly was. Chief Ike Diego had tried prayers, therapists, even a family deliverance. Nothing worked. Now, at 68, his health was fading. And his one dream, to see Abina happily married, was dying too. That night, as rain beat the tinted windows and thunder rolled above the lagoon, Chief Ike Diego made a decision. He would become poor, to find love for his son. 3 weeks later, inside a small boy's quarters at the back of his compound, Chief Ike Diego dressed himself in faded clothes. He smeared brown powder on his face to look older. He wore black shades to hide his identity and carried a blind man's walking stick. His loyal driver, Mazi Kelvin, stood by the door, mouth open in disbelief. Chief, Lagos no be joko. What if you enter one Agbero Warela? Or last ma carry you? Kelvin whispered. Chief Ike Diego smiled. True love does not fear hardship. If I cannot find it as a beggar, then my son truly has no hope. He picked up a dirty nylon bag with nothing but biscuits and sachet water inside. From today, I'm Papa Ikena, a blind beggar from the east. I came to Lagos to hustle. Let me see who will show me kindness. And with that, the gate of the mansion opened, and the billionaire walked into the streets of Lagos like a ghost in rags. Lagos, the city where dreams are born and buried, where the rich fly past in tinted jeeps, and the poor walk barefoot through floodwater, shouting, God go do 'em. Chief Ike Diego, now Papa Ikena, stood at the CMS bus park, gripping his walking stick like a lifeline. The smell of roasted corn, sweat, and fuel danced in the air. Danfos screeched. Hawkers weaved through traffic with sachet water and gala. Barber, shift NA, someone shouted, nearly knocking him down. But he didn't move. He was blind now. At least, that's what they saw. For the first time in decades, the billionaire stood without power, without protection, without his name. Who sent me this thing? He muttered under his breath. By afternoon, he had taken a noisy Danfo to Ajagunle, the other Lagos. Streets here told a different story. Cracked walls, loud generators, the sound of life being wrestled from hardship. He found a small corner near a busy junction, opposite a dusty buka selling Uaragoyen. There, he sat on the floor, his back against a cracked fence, bowl in hand. And he waited. The sun beat him. Children mocked him. Men passed by, dropping insults instead of coins. Blind man day smell like this. One woman scoffed. See as you be. Go beg your village people. Another spat. Hours passed. Nobody gave him a single naira. Then, just before evening, a soft voice interrupted the noise. Papa, you don't chop today. Chief Ike Diego raised his face, blinking behind his dark shades. It was a girl. No, a young woman, her wrapper faded, her blouse neat but worn. She held a small nylon bag. No, my piking. Nothing since morning, he replied softly, lowering his voice like an old man. She knelt beside him and opened the bag. I no get much. Just small rice we remain from my uncle own. But you fit manage. She placed a wrapped paper plate in his hands, jollof rice with 2 small pieces of fried plantain. Chief Ike Diego was silent. He was a billionaire. He could afford to buy a food truck. But in that moment, Her rice tasted like gold. "What's your name, my daughter?" he asked. "Amaka," she said, smiling. She helped him stand, and together, they walked slowly to her street, Ihora Lane, deep inside Ajagunle. It was a narrow path with water puddles, children running barefoot, and houses with clotheslines like flags. She lived in a face-me-face compound. 10 rooms, 1 bathroom, 20 people. Yet, her corner was clean. Tidy. There was a mirror broken in half, a sewing machine, and a small mat. "This NA where I day live with my uncle. He blind too. But I sew small clothes to survive," Amaka said, placing a stool for him to sit. Her eyes were kind, but tired. "So why you help me today? You no fear I be ritualist?" he asked, testing her. Amaka laughed. "If NA ritual you want do, NA rice you go chop." She shook her head. "I no get money, but I get heart." He smiled. She was the one. He could feel it. But the journey was just beginning. It rained the next morning. Not the sweet kind. Lagos rain. Loud. Rude. With thunder that sounded like landlord warning. In the small face-me-I-face-you compound, water flooded the front yard. Some tenants used buckets to scoop it out. Others just raised their legs and shouted, "Gotta beg." Inside her corner room, Amaka rolled up her wrapper and squeezed water from her faded curtain. Beside her sewing machine, a little basin caught dripping water from a ceiling. "Every time this rainfall, this zinc go day leak," she grumbled. But even with the chaos, she smiled. The old beggar, Papa Ikena, was sitting in a plastic chair she borrowed from the next room. She gave him her only clean towel to dry his feet. "I go sew another wrapper this week. Once customer pay me, I go find small black slippers for you. That one you day wear don chop life." Chief Ike Diego, in disguise, watched her closely. She had no reason to help him. No promise of reward. Yet she gave so much. "You day always laugh, even when things hard," he said. Amaka looked at him. "If I no laugh, wedding I go do. Cry every day." She chuckled. "Even tears sef don tire for my eyes." That afternoon, while mending a customer's torn blouse, Amaka shared her past. She was born in Ajagunle. Her mother sold tomatoes at Boundary Market. Her father was a carpenter. She was their only child. One morning, when she was just 11, her father went to fix a roof in Festac. He never returned. A few weeks later, her mother collapsed at her market stall, stroke. They said it was shock and BP. She died before they reached the hospital. Amaka moved in with her uncle, Uncle Chibuzo, blind since age 33. He was her mother's brother, a former music teacher. From that day, Amaka became the adult in the house. By 14, she dropped out of school. She became an apprentice under Mama Ifeoma, a popular tailor on their street. "I learned sharp. NA hustle teach me speed," Amaka said proudly. Now, at 24, she was her own madam, using one second-hand machine, sitting by the window. Chief Ike Diego listened in silence, his heart tightening with every word. His own son lived in a mansion with AC and chef, yet complained that women stressed him. This girl, who never even saw Banana Island in real life, still found joy in small victories. That evening, Amaka brought out a transistor radio and placed it beside her uncle's mat. "Uncle, Papa Ikena here. Him and a new friend." "Ah, welcome oh." Uncle Chibuzo's voice was warm. "You go chop beans." The three of them sat together and ate quietly. That night, Chief Ike Diego lay on a small mat beside the window, raindrops tapping the zinc above. Amaka humming quietly while folding a wrapper. And for the first time in years, the billionaire felt peace. The next week, Papa Ikena, once Chief Ike Diego, stopped waking up early. He stopped eating much. He started coughing. It wasn't real. He was only pretending. But Amaka didn't know that. She rushed from one chemist to another, carrying him on her shoulder like a daughter. She begged a neighbor for paracetamol. She gave up 2 of her best clients because Papa is not feeling well. "Amaka," the neighbor asked, "this old man NA your real Papa?" She paused. "No. But, he's someone's father. That's enough." That night, Papa Ikena lay on her mat, his back against the wall, pretending to be weak. Amah sat by his feet, cleaning them with warm water and Dettol. And he said in his heart, "My son does not deserve this girl." 3 days later, he left 50,000 Nigerian nairas in an envelope under his pillow. Money that could feed her for a month. He positioned it carefully, peeking just enough to tempt. He went outside and pretended to sleep under the tree. 30 minutes passed. Amah came in to sweep. She saw it. She paused, looked around, picked it up. She opened the envelope. She saw the money. She stared at it like it might bite her, then quickly covered it back. "Papa, I canna," she shouted, coming outside. "You forgot this inside. Envelope day under your head." He smiled slowly. "N. You sure say N.A. my own." "Yes. I know day open people thing, but I see say E too big to ignore." She handed it to him, then returned inside. Later that day, she used her last 200 Nigerian nairas to buy Gary. He watched her, deeply moved. This girl N.A. treasure, he thought. That week, he started asking deep questions. "Amah, why you never marry?" She laughed. "For this Lagos? With which money? Or make I go marry one guy we go turn me to punching bag? What if a good man come?" She turned serious. "Good man no day look here. Dem day look island babes we paint face. Nobody day look girl we day fetch water barefoot. But if you see love, you go accept 'em." She looked at him. "If I see person we love me for who I be, not for my problem, I go follow 'em go anywhere, even if N.A. to hawk pure water together." Papa Ikenna turned away so she wouldn't see the tears forming behind his dark shades. Meanwhile, back in Lekki, Ikenna Jr., Chief Ikedigo's son, was worried. It had been over 2 weeks, and no one had heard from his father. The old man's guards said he left alone. His phones were off. He left a cryptic note. "I'm going to find a wife that money cannot buy." Ikenna laughed it off at first, but curiosity began to eat him. He asked their longtime driver to drive him into the mainland. They searched Bariga. They checked Mushin. Then they tried Ajagunle. And there, in the corner of a dusty street, he saw a crowd gathered around a blind beggar and a young woman sewing by candlelight. He parked far. He watched them for an hour. When he returned to Lekki that night, he couldn't sleep. The girl touched him. Not her body. Her spirit. It was Friday evening. The sun had already dropped behind the half-finished buildings, casting long shadows across the narrow, sandy roads of Ajagunle. Noise filled the air, children playing with rubber tires, women frying akra by the gutter, and boys blasting portable song from a cracked speaker. Amah was coming back from the market with a nylon bag of thread and zips when she saw it. A crowd. People shouting. "Somebody don faint oh." She rushed forward. Lying in the middle of the street, arms limp, face pale, was Papa Ikenna. Her scream tore through the noise. "Papa!" She dropped her bag and pushed through the crowd. She knelt beside him, shaking him, slapping his chest lightly. "Papa, wake up. Papa a beg. No leave me." Somebody shouted, "Carry him go General Hospital." Amah flagged a kidnapper, ignoring the driver's complaints about bloodstain. She held Papa Ikenna's head on her lap, crying like he was a real father. In the emergency unit of Ajaromi General Hospital, nurses wheeled the old man in. "Are you his daughter?" one asked. "Yes. I mean, no, but, yes, I stay with him. He lives with me," she stammered. "Go outside. We'll call you." Amah paced the hospital corridor barefoot. She hadn't even realized she left her slippers behind at the scene. 30 minutes passed. Then an hour. She cried quietly. Then, the doors opened. And out walked a man in designer jeans and a navy blue shirt. Clean, well-groomed, expensive watch. Ikenna Jr. He looked at her and asked quietly, "Are you Amah?" She blinked. "Yes, who be you?" He smiled faintly. "I'm his son." Amah's jaw dropped. "But, he told me he was alone. He never mentioned family." Ikenna looked down, then back up. "That's because he came here, looking for something money couldn't buy." The nurse called them in. Papa Ikenna sat up on the bed, oxygen mask hanging loosely around his neck. He smiled weakly when he saw both of them. "Ihan," he said. "Time to talk true. He removed his mask completely and sat up straight, shocking Amah. "You day pretend," she gasped. "I be billionaire," he said plainly. "My name N.A. Chief Ike Diego. I came here to find a woman worth giving to my only son." Amah's eyes widened. "You mean, you tested me?" "Yes. Because my son say all Lagos girls day pretend. Say DM day fake love because of money." Ikenna looked at Amah, guilt in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't know until I watched you one day, helping him. You didn't know anyone was watching you." Amah turned away, hand shaking. The betrayal stung. Her eyes welled up with fresh tears. "You used me," she whispered. "No," Papa Ikenna said gently. "I saw you. The real you. And I was proud." Amah stood there for a moment. Then she turned to the door. She walked out without another word. Papa Ikenna tried to rise, but Ikenna Jr. stopped him. "Let her go." Amah walked into the Lagos night, barefoot, holding nothing but her dignity. 2 days later, when Papa Ikenna woke up and called out Amah, the house was quiet. Too quiet. Her small green plastic bucket still sat beside the zinc basin. Her slippers were by the door. But her sewing machine was gone. So was her mat. And her tiny mirror she used to fix her scarf in the mornings. Gone. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the emptiness of her room through the curtain gap. She was gone. Papa Ikenna didn't eat that morning. Didn't talk to the neighbor who came to greet him. He sat there, old fingers trembling as he touched the folded wrappers she had once ironed and arranged neatly for him. He touched the spot she used to kneel and pray every morning. The ache in his chest wasn't sickness. It was regret. Meanwhile, Ikenna Jr. had made a decision. He couldn't stay comfortable in Lekki while Amah vanished into thin air. "I have to find her," he told his father. "Then go," Papa Ikenna said quietly. "But don't go with pride in your pocket." Ikenna packed a small bag, wore a plain black t-shirt, left his Benz behind and used a keek to the bus stop. From Ajagunle to Orile to Shiraleer. He walked the streets asking people, describing her. Tall slim girl. Always tying scarf. Sells zips, thread. Used to stay with an old man. Most people just shook their heads. Plenty girls for Lagos be like that, brothers. Amah had moved in with a friend, Sade, an old customer-turned-sister who sold fabrics in Lawrence Market. Sade gave her a corner in her room. She said nothing about the old man. Not even to Sade. She just kept working. Sewing. Thinking. Healing. Sometimes she'd stop mid-stitch, as a memory of Papa Ikenna laughing under the mango tree hit her chest like a plank. But she wiped her eyes. And kept going. One evening, she stood in front of the mirror in Sade's room. She stared at her own reflection. "Maybe I was foolish," she whispered. "But I no regret loving him. Because I did it from my heart." And in that quiet moment, she smiled. For the first time in days. Back in Ajagunle, Ikenna was passing by the compound when the landlord called him. "You be the boy we day find that girl we sew clothes." "Yes," he said quickly. "I hear say she day stay for Shiraleer. Ask for Sade, that woman we day sell lace. N.A. her friend." He didn't waste a second. Rain had just started falling as Ikenna arrived in Lawrence Market, his shirt clinging to his back, his shoes soaked with Lagos red sand. He didn't care. He moved from stall to stall. "Sade day here." Somebody pointed. "Check the yellow umbrella side." He found the stall, colorful fabrics stacked to the ceiling, customers haggling, generators humming. Then he saw her, Amah, sitting on a small wooden stool, bent over a piece of asoebi lace, her scarf tied, face focused. His legs froze. She hadn't seen him. He took a slow step forward. Then another. And when she finally looked up, their eyes met. Time stood still. She blinked like she was seeing a ghost. "What are you doing here?" she asked, standing up slowly. "Amah," he said. "I came to find you." "For what?" Her voice was calm, but firm. "Because I need to say sorry. I was wrong. I should have trusted you, even without knowing the test." She folded her arms. "So I passed the test? What next? Your family will welcome me with balloons." I don't need my family's permission anymore, he said quietly. I need your forgiveness. A pause. Then she looked down. Do you even know how it felt? Being told I was part of an experiment. I know. And I regret it. The market noise swallowed the silence between them. Go home, she finally said. I'm not ready. And she turned back to her sewing. That night, Sade returned to the room and found Amah silent, sitting by the window. I saw that fine boy we day look like actor, Sade teased. N.A. him ABI. Amah nodded. And you told him to go? Another nod. Sade sat beside her. Amah, I know say you strong. You no day carry man for head. But sometimes, love no be weakness. N.A. power. Tears slipped from Amah's eyes, but she wiped them quickly. I just want peace. And dignity. You fit have both, Sade said. Just make sure you no leave love behind in the process. Back in his mansion, Papa Ikena sat in his room, holding an old photo of Ikena's mother. He sighed, then made a call. The next morning, Sade's stall had an unexpected visitor. A black SUV pulled up. Out stepped two men in black suits, and Chief Ike Diego in full traditional Isiagu, cap tilted, staff in hand. Customers stopped. Traders whispered, N.A. who be that? He walked straight to Amah. Can I borrow your time, my daughter? Her heart raced. He bowed slightly. I came to apologize. Not just for the test, but for not telling you sooner how proud I was of you. Tears welled up in Amah's eyes. Sade's jaw was hanging. And I came to ask, will you let me call you daughter? The first time Amah stepped into Lekki, she didn't breathe for 10 seconds. The car had been sent for her. A black SUV with a quiet driver who said, Chief sent me. Sade hugged her tight before she entered. You day go with grace, Sade whispered. No fear. They drove past Ikate, Elagashi, across the Lekki Okoye Bridge, with its glowing blue lights and breeze that didn't smell like market sweat. And when they pulled up to the compound gate, it opened like it had been expecting royalty. Inside, white mansion, marble stairs, a fountain dancing in the center. And a mansion be this, she whispered, heart hammering. The security man at the gate bowed. Good afternoon, Ma. Ma. She was taken inside by the housekeeper, Mama Doris, a short woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a big laugh. I've been here plenty about you, oh, she said, leading Amah through corridors that echoed. But seeing you in person? You get one kind star around you. And a so Madame Day shine before she die. They passed a giant portrait of Ikena's late mother, regal in her George wrapper, her eyes warm. Amah paused. She greeted the woman in the picture softly, as if the spirit was listening. In the sitting room, Papa Ikena welcomed her with a wide smile and kola nut on a silver tray. Welcome to where you belong, my daughter. She curtsied, nervous. I still don't know if I belong yet, sir. He laughed. You belonged the day you chose kindness without price. They talked. About family. About life. About Ikena. Then, he brought out a sealed envelope and handed it to her. Read this when you get home. It's something she wrote before she died. She blinked. She. My wife. She saw you in a dream years ago. She wrote something. I only found it 2 weeks ago. Just as she was about to leave, Ikena walked in. He froze when he saw her. She stood too. They stared. Can we talk? He asked. Only if you talk with truth, she said softly. He nodded. They went outside, into the garden. I was scared, he said, that you wouldn't survive in this world. She chuckled. I know be cockroach. I day survive Lagos. He smiled. I know that now. You're the strongest person I've ever met. They sat on a bench, quiet. I miss you, he said. She didn't reply. But she didn't stand up either. They sat like that till dusk. It was past midnight in Laurenson, and the generator had gone off. Sade was already sleeping, her back turned, snoring softly. Amah sat on their mattress on the floor, a single candle flickering beside her. She held the envelope Papa Ikena had given her. She ran her fingers across it again, then slowly opened it. Inside was a single neatly folded page with soft handwriting. It began with, "To the woman who will carry my son's name." Her breath caught. She blinked rapidly and continued reading. The letter. "I don't know who you are yet, but if you are reading this, then you have found your way to him. Or he has found his way to you. My son is kind, but stubborn. Wealthy, but wounded. Strong, but searching. He will not find peace until he marries a woman who has seen dust and rain, who knows hunger but still shares, who walks with grace even in slippers. My spirit told me this before I passed. So I prayed that life would bring such a woman to him, that she would not be perfect, but she would be true. If you are her, I want you to know, you are already enough. Don't let the marble walls or golden spoons confuse you. This family needs you more than you know. There is an old curse that haunts our name. No first son of Ike Diego has ever known joy in marriage, until the one who chooses love, not status. Break it. Break it with your kindness, with your fire, with the truth of who you are. I will be watching, with joy in my eyes. Ngozi Ike Diego. Tears rolled down Amaka's cheeks and soaked into the page. She pressed the letter to her chest and sobbed, silent, deep sobs that came from a place older than words. She felt her heart stretching, not just for Ikenna, but for everything the letter represented. Healing, legacy, purpose. By morning, Sade woke up to see Amaka already dressed, tying her headscarf. "Where you day go?" she asked, rubbing her eyes. "I day go break curse," Amaka whispered, a half-smile on her face. The invitation came in a white envelope, sealed with gold wax. Inside was a card that shimmered. "You are invited to the Ike Diego Foundation Charity Ball. Venue, Echo Hotel and Suites. Dress code, black tie or traditional elegance." Amaka stared at it for hours. It felt like another world. Sade whistled when she saw it. "A So Rich People Day package party." Amaka didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She wore a blue ankara gown, simple but stunning, with silver beads hand-sewn by her neighbor Mama Nkechi. "No let dem intimidate you, oh," Mama Nkechi had warned. "Just day walk like say your mama and a queen." Sade gave her a final touch of gloss. When Amaka stepped out, the whole compound froze. Children stopped playing. One man shouted, "A Nollywood day shoot here today." Papa Ikenna sent a private car with a female escort, one of the family's assistants, Ngozi Jr., named after his late wife. "You look divine," Ngozi said as they drove through the Lekki tollgate into Victoria Island. Amaka looked out the window. Her heart was beating fast. Everything felt like a dream. When she walked into the ballroom, everything fell silent for a moment. Gold chandeliers, red carpet, people in gowns worth her rent for a year. Then whispers began. "Who's that? She's not from here. She looks too normal." But Ikenna walked straight up to her, smiled, and held her hand. "I've never seen anything more beautiful," he said, loud enough for others to hear. He introduced her to business partners, to governors' wives, to women with skin polished like glass. They smiled fake smiles. She smiled real ones. Later that night, they stood on the balcony overlooking Lagos. The city lights twinkled like stars. She turned to him. "Why me?" He looked at her. "Because you saved my father's heart when I couldn't. You taught me how to see again." She hesitated. "If I lose myself trying to fit into your world, will you still love me?" He held her hand tighter. "If you ever stop being you, then I've lost everything I fell in love with." A reporter stopped them as they entered the hallway again. "Miss Amaka," the woman said, microphone in hand, camera rolling. "How does it feel going from Loranson to Lekki?" Amaka paused. The crowd turned. She smiled. "It's not the place that matters. Na the person. Whether Na Loranson or Lekki, if love day, peace go follow." The room clapped. Even some of the women who had judged her smiled for real this time. The hall was filled with over 1,000 guests. From senators to socialites, media houses to international donors, everyone had come to witness the launch of the Amaka Initiative, a women's empowerment program named in her honor. The name was Ikenna's idea. "No woman should suffer in silence again," he had said. "And no story is too small to become a seed." But Amaka wasn't ready for what came next. 3 hours into the event, A woman in black silk walked up to her. "You will be giving a speech after the next panel." Amah froze. "A what?" "A short thank you speech. Just a few minutes," the woman smiled. Amah's heart began to pound. Backstage, her palms became sweaty. Her chest tightened. Suddenly, she was no longer in Victoria Island. She was back in Loranson, under the leaking zinc roof, dodging rain while stirring Gary. She was back in Mile 2, standing in a gutter, begging a bus conductor not to hit her again. She was back in her father's compound in Umuahia, where her stepmother once poured hot water on her leg. The MIC felt like a noose. She couldn't breathe. As she turned to run, a small girl ran up to her. "Are you Auntie Amah?" she asked, holding a crayon drawing. It was her, with a crown. "My mummy said you used to live in a face you like us," she smiled. "Now you are a big auntie. I drew you." Her tears dropped instantly. She knelt. "What's your name?" she asked. "Ifiolua," she beamed. She hugged her like a mother hugs a child after a war. That moment saved her. They called her name. She walked out in silence. The entire room stood. Amah took the MIC. "Good evening, everyone," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "My name is Amah." A few claps. Then silence. "I am not from a powerful family. I do not speak perfect English. I have never traveled out of Nigeria. But what I have is story. What I have is strength." Now more claps. "I came from nothing. But I did not let it define me. I love a man who saw beyond dust. And today, I stand here not because I climbed ladder, but because God pushed me up." Now a standing ovation. She smiled, voice strong now. "To every girl who is sleeping on the floor tonight, I see you. You are not broken. You are not invisible. One day, they will clap for you too." She stepped back. The applause shook the hall. Backstage, Ikenna wiped his eyes quietly. Beside him, Papa Ikenna smiled, placing a proud hand on his shoulder. "This is the woman your mother prayed for," he whispered. Ikenna whispered back, "And I almost missed her." 2 months after the speech, the entire city was buzzing. Everyone expected a destination wedding in Dubai, or at least an island resort in Lagos with helicopters dropping flower petals. But when the Ike Diego family released the wedding location, the internet almost broke. Location: St. James Anglican Church, Loranson, Sierra Leone. Reception: open field beside Mama Tope's canteen. Amah wanted to get married where her life had started, not where society expected. "And Ikenna?" He agreed with one sentence. "If it's not real, it's not us." The streets of Loranson had never seen anything like it. From Ajagunle to Festac, buses brought guests from every corner of Lagos. Children wore matching asoebi. Hawkers left their stalls. Even Okada men wore white. The small church overflowed with joy. And at exactly 11:11 a.m., Amah walked in, not in a foreign designer gown, but in a hand-woven lace sewn by the widow she once helped during her NYSC. She was breathtaking, a mix of royalty and realness. Ikenna, in a white agbada, looked at her like he was seeing the sun for the first time. When the priest asked them to say their vows, Ikenna held her hands tight. "I vow to never let you feel unseen again. I vow to honor the God that gave you to me. I vow to build not just a home, but a legacy with you." Amah smiled, tears falling as she responded. "I vow to never shrink myself to fit anyone's opinion. I vow to give our children the strength I once begged for. I vow to love you when it's easy and even more when it's hard." The church fell silent. Then a thunderous amen. The field beside Mama Tope's canteen had been transformed into a fairy tale. Plastic chairs and red carpet. Local rice, moin moin, zobo. Fuji band playing Oruka live. But no champagne. Just pure joy. And at the center, the couple, dancing barefoot at some point, pulling everyone into their happiness. Even Papa Ikenna danced. People couldn't believe it. "And the same man we day always wear agbada and carry body." He laughed as he hugged Amah tightly. "This girl saved my family. And today, we are giving her back to the same street that gave her to us." Midway through the celebration, Amah stepped on stage with a microphone. The crowd hushed. "Today is not just about me," she said. It's about us. So we are gifting this land, where I once sold Puff Puff, to build a free vocational school for girls. The crowd screamed. Ikenna came up behind her, smiling. And for every anniversary, we will donate one new business grant in the name of a girl who once believed she was nothing. The cheers turned to tears. Even the DJ wiped his eyes. Later that evening, as the sun dipped behind rusty rooftops, Amah and Ikenna sat on a bench outside the same face maze she once lived in. No cameras. No guests. Just them. Do you regret anything? She asked softly. Ikenna shook his head. Even the pain led me to you. She smiled. Me too. Then she placed her head on his shoulder. I think we did something beautiful today. He kissed her forehead. No, Amah, you are the something beautiful. They stayed there, hand in hand, as Loranson glowed around them. The end. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe, like, and share with someone who still believes in love, destiny, and second chances. This is Tales by Amah, where stories speak truth.